it's working. I believe.
First one or the second one?
I believe it may be working. There's an ad. No. Oh, we're totally live. All right.
Start talking? Oh,
Well,
okay.
We may as well wait until they show up.
Well, we can say it a couple times. I'll say it the first time.
So.
Hey, sorry about this. We've been having some bad technical issues, but we now have the second stream live, and there's another link for that being posted in the first stream. So yeah, we're going to give it a little bit of a moment until everybody gets over onto the second link, and then we're going to get going on this thing.
Yeah. You can also find this just by clicking on the CNC Labs YouTube channel, and then you should see another stream appear there on the live section. I guess for anyone that is in that new stream, let us know if you can hear us. Seems like it should be working properly though. Nice.
Yeah.
It's 44. Cool. Yeah, so for anyone joining us, we were having some small issues. Well, I guess some pretty big technical issues. The stream was just not cooperating on the original stream that we'd set up, so I guess we basically had to make a brand new stream from scratch. So that's why we're kind of having people come on over to this one. It's
Yep.
pretty strange stuff. This YouTube stream thing has been a little problematic in the past as well. It's just weird things going on.
Yeah, but we're going now. So
Yeah, got ears, sounds fine. Can hear you, perfect.
Great. How many people have we got on the stream now?
It's like 40, 41.
All right,
oh wow,
great,
everyone's already moved over.
All right, so it looks as though we've
I guess we
got
can
pretty
start.
much the population over onto the second stream. So
Yep.
we'll do the introductions. My name is Ben Voigt. This is
Yeah, I'm Daniel Wong. We're both the engineers on the AltMill project. So taking this from the original AltMill to some little revised versions of the AltMill, like this one below us or behind us. Yeah, so we're going to be talking, I guess, about the 2x4 launch of the AltMill, talking about some of the little changes that have made its way into the Mark II AltMill, and yeah, answering any kind of questions that you guys might have about that. Yeah,
Yep.
Now is the time. Yep.
I guess we could do a little introduction of this is a Mark II AltMill, what it's going to look like. It's a 4x4, so you can see that there's the 5 cross beams in there, whereas the 2x4 would only have 3 cross beams, but it's going to look exactly like this, just a bit. It's going to be shorter.
Yeah. So I can give you guys some numbers for total size of this 2x4 AltMill. You can also find these on the latest video we put out. But yeah, the total working area for the y-axis is going to be 25.6 or 25.7 in that range inches. So we typically will sell machines at a nominal size, and then we'll end up going a little bit bigger than that just to give you some working room, so that if you take a full 8-foot long sheet of plywood, you can cut that down into quarters and actually make sure you get around the whole piece and not just to the ends. So we like to give you a little bit more extra room there. Same as in the X direction, we actually give you about 50 inches of total working area, so you can get around a full 4-foot wide piece of material. Sometimes sheet stock also, they do sell it a little bit wider than nominal size as well. So a lot of plywood sheets will end up being 49 inches instead of 48.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the total working or total footprint of the machine for the 2x4 is going to be 38.4 inches deep. So that includes the motors on the back. And then the same width as the 4x4 AltMill, which is around 63 inches wide. So yeah, it's a pretty reasonable size for like a maybe 2-car garage or something like that, if you're a little bit short on space or you don't want to occupy too much dead space and your projects aren't like overly large, it's a pretty good fit. I think it'll be a pretty popular size that we see.
Yeah.
I guess we got some first preliminary questions. Got my order in for the 2x4. Congratulations, William. Excited to ship that out for you. And then, is the 2x4 AltMill the same as the Mark II? Answer that.
Yeah, wondering if it's a 12-week. Is the 2x4 AltMill same as Mark II? Yes, that is it is the same Mark II. It's just shorter.
Yeah. So you'll be getting all that 2x4 launch and shipping is coinciding exactly with Mark II stuff on the AltMill. So you'll be getting all those like most up-to-date things, obviously. Yeah.
Hey Joe, I ordered 2x4 Jan 7th. Didn't know there would be a Mark II. How can I get the Mark II version? Yep.
Yeah. So in that situation, you should be able to reach out to our support team and send them a request to update your version. And yeah.
Yeah, so you should be able to get the Mark II, even though you've ordered the Mark I. I believe it's $300 more to get the Mark II. If you're ordering, or
if he'd already previously ordered.
Oh,
yeah,
my mistake.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
I am on the wait list for. Oh yeah. Would like to upgrade. Will this happen automatically? I guess for Dana, the answer would depend on when you ordered. If you just ordered today, obviously you're getting a Mark II, but you're on the wait list, so this is probably a while ago. It won't happen automatically, but you can, like I said before, reach out to customer support, and we'll look into that and get you upgraded. But I guess as mentioned before in the Mark II update video that we put out, this will mean that you'll have to wait for the shipment beginning of the AltMill Mark II parts and machines. So that's going to happen sometime later on in March or so. If I bought the 2x4 and ever decided to need the 4x4, can the rails be purchased to grow it up? That's a very good question. It is possible. I don't remember what the exact plans are so far for offering a kit to do that, but yes, you would need to just upgrade the Y-axis rails, so you'd get the longer 4-foot long versions, and then you would just need 2 extra cross beams. I could totally see that being something that we would offer just as an upgrade kit.
Yep.
And yeah, I guess you need longer wiring. That's about it. Yeah. You planning on adding automatic tool change? That's something that we're doing some internal testing on still. I will say that it's sort of on our roadmap, at least the development support for systems, whether us or third parties. But yeah, we're kind of actively looking into that still. And the machine, the controller is very much capable of all of that. It's just some kind of fit and finish user experience stuff that we're still working on to make that smooth and practical for anyone to use, really. I ordered one day after the release of the Mark II. Yeah. Lead time on the 4x4 Mark II around 12 weeks, as it was for the Mark I. The lead time for the Mark II will sort of depend on where you are in that queue. I don't have the exact answer for that off the top of my head right now, as we're still working out kind of how shipments will go out for the Mark II when we get those parts in to ship out. But needless to say, you'd probably be looking at around like late March to a little after that for shipment of Mark II.
Should we talk a little bit about the differences from the Mark II, from the Mark I to Mark II? Or?
Yeah, we can go over some of those. So we got some sample parts here.
A couple props to show you guys, something for us to hold and talk about, which is kind of fun. Here's a cross section of what the Mark II Y rail looks like. So some of the differences are that there's a reference edge here. Instead of at the bottom with the Mark I, it was sticking out the bottom. And that's going to help a lot with when you're putting the machine together. You've got it on the ground. You have it just like this upside down when you're putting it together. Added help because now it's far more stable, and especially when the ball, the bearing blocks are installed on this side as well. So you're able to leave it there. It's not going to fall over. And then you put all the cross beams in, just and they'll sit on this reference edge. We've done it quite a few times, and it's just it's a much easier process than putting together the Mark I, which is a nice quality of life relief for putting together your machine for the first time. Yeah, and with that, another obvious change is that we've got a dust shield integrated right into the extrusion, so that's one less piece that you need to worry about putting on. Right now we have it so that you put a sheet metal part and you attach it with the T-slot. Yeah, there's a nice little rib in there as well to help with making sure that the die, it's kind of like I'm losing the word.
Quality, it's sort of like a reducing scrap rate thing, I guess.
Yes.
It's the same thing going on with the X-Axis, where you can kind of control some of those wall surfaces a bit better when you have some sort of rib or cross member. Yeah, but it's a lot of those little quality of life things and a lot of little quality control improvements for us. Yeah, I guess one thing to talk about is that, like, we'd put out the Mark II video, and we were really hoping to emphasize that a lot of this really is just like small incremental improvements, both for the assembly process as well as for like our own internal processes and reducing waste and things like that. A kind of common misconception is that the middle brace here for the X-Rail is going to be a significant improvement for stiffness and stuff on this machine. Maybe the same might be assumed for the Y as well, but it's really a matter of controlling wall surfaces more than anything else to make sure that we don't have parts that are coming out of tolerance and are going to get scrapped or anything.
Yeah, much more of an internal quality control reasoning behind these changes.
Yeah.
It just helps us a lot, which,
In practicality, the AltMill Mark I was designed to like way overkill in terms of rigidity and strength for what you could ever possibly need. And I think that we'll continue growing this ecosystem around that rather than looking to make serious rigidity or performance improvements to it. It was sort of designed to like do it once right, properly, and go overkill, and then not really need to worry about that too much afterwards. So any of these improvements and then any of the future improvements that you might see are probably not going to be too focused on that, unless we start hearing of customers that are like, oh, this machine's too weak or it's too floppy or something, but I haven't heard anything about that yet.
Yeah, pretty unlikely.
Yeah. We got some other questions.
Yeah, there's some on auto tool change, one on T-Trax purchase to reduce waste of the new Y depth.
So I will mention something about the T-Trax, which is an important thing here. I can't comment exactly on when we will have these available for sale, and I would say that you should just purchase the regular T-Trax we have as of now. They're 36 inches long. The table bed length is going to be about 34 to 35 inches depending on how you set up your wasteboard, or you can just design your wasteboard on your 2x4 AltMill to stick out a little bit more, and it won't even look awkward at all. Get the standard T-Trax that we have right now, and then in the interim, later on, we'll have 34-inch T-Trax, and we'll be offering as well 48-inch long T-Trax sometime in the near future. So that'll basically just kind of cover both machines, and then the 34-inch long T-Trax will also be backwards compatible for any long mill use and any general T-Trax stuff that you want to set up. Yeah, they're pretty handy. We love our T-Trax around here. Yeah, and then obviously, if you want them to be completely flush with the end of the back of your table, just chop them. They're pretty soft aluminum. It's easy enough to cut. Yeah. We've
got a question about the 220-volt spindle kit. Yeah, we're looking into that right now.
Yeah, we made a couple update videos regarding larger spindles as well. So those will typically be 220-volt nature. So that's something we're looking into. Yeah, we'll probably have some more updates on that as we go through the coming months. Yeah.
But yeah, that would all be compatible with the 2x4 and the Mark II AltMill.
I guess you could talk about the auto tool change setup, how that was. Ben was doing
Yeah.
a lot of the testing and internal setup for sort of like a test bench automatic tool change system.
Yeah, so like it's to a certain degree, it would likely be up to the user and how you like to do it. But how I was doing it, I just took up a bit of space at the back of the machine. I don't think it took up much more than like 40 millimeters or so of space at the back. And if the tools are there, then yeah, that's not going to be usable. But didn't really get in the way of the projects that I was doing. And then additionally, we were playing around on Johan was playing around with a tool change rack that gets shot out pneumatically, and then you change the tool, and then that tool rack then gets pulled back out of the working tool space, or sorry, working cutting area. So that would be an option as well if you wanted to set that up. We're not sure really if eventually when we get into the auto tool change realm, what that product would explicitly look like, if we'd be selling it with the tool change rack and all that set up. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, that's a funny one too, because the auto tool change rack is one of those where it's basically impossible to have a rack that doesn't take away from your cutting area unless it moves. Yeah, and then, like as soon as you have a moving rack, it's like the complexity of setting that up, the number of things that can go wrong just goes through the roof. And that's kind of the last thing we want to have on a system that's kind of brand new and frankly quite complicated by its nature.
But then with that, you as the user, you're interested in doing that. You want to look, like you want to figure out how to put that together as your own sort of like internal project. Then it is capable of the controller. The system is capable of sustaining that. Yeah,
this controller and firmware architecture is just like, it's insanely capable. Like you can have different preset positions for different tool holder or different tool racks, all sorts of stuff that you wouldn't even believe. And it's just kind of the tip of the iceberg that we're at too. So that's another thing we're looking at, as well as working on more of the firmware and exposing some more fun features for people, and then seeing how those will play along with our product ecosystem for stuff like tool changing in the future. It is a good bit of like work for now though, so we'll see how that goes.
With the on-shape question, the 2x4 on-shape model, I guess we'll
probably very soon.
Once it's released and being sent out, then we'll try to get it as soon as possible.
Yeah, that'll probably be put out along with all the Mark II AltMill stuff. We generally aim to have that sort of thing put out either a little bit before or around the time of shipping. We were a little bit later on that with the original AltMill launch, but we have a bit more bandwidth now, so we'll try and push that out sooner. I know that's pretty handy for a lot of people because you like to be able to see how your shelf setup might be or where certain things might be, like laid out in your shop and stuff like that. It's pretty handy. Can I order the 2x4 and Vortex to be posted together to save $150? Unfortunately not. It's tricky because these are large machines, and as much as we try to pack these efficiently and strategically into boxes to keep shipping costs as low as possible, it's still a little bit too large to be able to bundle things together and save money on something like a Vortex. Because the Vortex is also surprisingly heavy too. It's got a lot of steel, a lot of aluminum parts, and it adds up pretty fast. It would be nice. Actually, a funny thing might be the original packaging concept of the 2x4. The AltMill was originally packed in 3 boxes, and something that we were exploring was the idea of trying to squeeze it into 2 with the 2x4 machine. It was a bit of a dilemma for us because I don't remember what the exact number was, but it would have produced one box that was absurdly heavy.
Yeah, like 96 pounds,
Yeah.
which is one of those ones where we did a couple tests and just about asked everybody in the office, hey, pick this up.
Yeah.
What do you think about this? And you're picking up like, oh yeah, I can pick this up, but no, we decided that it wouldn't be the right idea. But it would be the main box that would be rather heavy because we'd be putting the shorter Y rails in there as well, and taking. There was one thing we were taking out of the main box. What was that?
Plates or something maybe.
Yes, yeah, it was
Something
the plates. Either way.
Yeah, it would have been funny, and it is a funny one where it's like you ask a couple people in the office, like, "Hey, is this like an okay amount of weight to ship?" And be like, "Yeah, sure, why not? Like, it's a heavy machine." And you ask some other people, and they're like, "Absolutely not. Like, people are gonna hurt themselves." And I think that's better to err on the safe side. Like, we're not trying to pinch absolute pennies everywhere possible for shipping, and it's one of those where let's just package this in multiple bits. And like eat the cost of that in whatever way, and let's make people not have to pick up a 100-pound box and keep it reasonable. I mean, I think 60 pounds or 70 pounds, which they ship here, is already kind of pushing it.
Yeah.
I mean, frankly, that's just the nature of this too. It's a big machine, but yeah, it is a funny one. It's a funny one.
Yeah. So for now, we've got three. The 2x4 is going to be sent out in 3 boxes. Main box, the X-rail box, and then the Y-rail box is going to be quite a bit smaller than currently how they're sent out.
12 millimeter holes on the legs. So I don't know what that question is exactly, but maybe you're asking if these are 12 millimeter, which I would say yes, they are. I think they were maybe a little bit larger. They might be clearance to like 12.4 or something like that. Wait, no.
12 millimeter holes
Sorry,
on the legs.
I'm totally wrong. No, they're 10 millimeter. These are 10 millimeter holes. They are not 12 millimeter holes. But I would say to you, Greg, you can go ahead and drill those out for whatever reason it may be. You might be thinking about doing caster wheels or something. Yeah.
Talking about these holes? What?
No, the feet.
Oh, yeah. It's like, I don't think that those are 10 millimeters. But, okay, now I'm in.
Yeah.
Yep.
Try being in Sweden. Yeah, I know. I feel you. I think the European shipping is a funny one because I don't know how many great options there are for CNC machines on that side of the earth. No offense to any of the CNC manufacturers. Like you guys, I think that there are a lot of great machines there, but they're quite expensive and they're like the options are pretty slim. So I think you guys end up paying a lot of money for machines closer to our end of the pond. Arrange a batch delivery to you, maybe.
Any financial options when placing orders? Yeah, I'm not entirely, and like.
I think they're talking about like financing payments.
Oh, I see.
Things like Affirm and all those people. I think.
No.
Yeah, it's a pretty strong no from us. Not a strong no, but it's something that we kind of don't believe in. We're not kind of here to take your money as much as possible. Like we're trying to provide you a machine that is of good value and is like suitable for your needs. And I guess our stance on payment plans and financing and things like that is that we don't want to be incurring a really expensive machine on you if it doesn't really make practical sense. I think that financing can make practical sense as you get to really expensive machines. Like if you're starting a machine shop and you're getting a $200,000 mill, obviously you're probably going to finance it or something. But I think for the class of market that we typically exist in, we really want to dissuade people from that sort of thing and just focus on making things more affordable or accessible in the long term. So shipping companies, oh yeah. We do not have a reseller in EU. Yeah, European stuff, I guess that's a question for someone else, but I don't have many answers. We'll have to think about this kind of stuff. Selling it to a man.
You're not necessarily selling it to a man. Keep it light.
Yeah. Hello.
Can you attach blade? The blade instead of a bit. Yeah, that would, I guess, be sort of up to your own retrofit to a certain degree if you've. I think I know what you're talking about, like cutting out different fabric with a blade. I've seen that on different CNC machines. What you would be able to get with this is you have a gantry with like you're able to move it to any X, Y, Z position. So then with your blade attachment, whatever you think up, whatever you need to use, it's like you get a system to work with, and then if you're able to retrofit it yourself to put another blade attachment on there, then go nuts. It would be fun to see what you like. Send it in to us, send a photo, and it would be fun to see that. But drag knife.
Drag knife, yeah.
So yeah, but I assume that's what he's talking about.
Yeah, we've had people ask about
Johnny Kruz.
We've had people ask about like other attachments and things like drag knives or lasers, plasma cutters. Scott's saying something about a sander. Oh yeah, you watched that Hamilton Dilbeck video where he put a sanding thing on. Okay, nothing to do with him. Sure, it's
Lots
an
of
original
people are
idea.
putting sanding things.
Scott's he's not that original. Anyways, yeah, like there's all sorts of attachments you can put on this. It's a great platform for just things in general. I mean, as much as a CNC router can be really whatever you need in a 4x4 size, it's pretty helpful. And it's freestanding too, so it's pretty practical for setup. We had one customer early on who was looking to retrofit a fiber laser attachment, and he's using this for actual manufacturing processes. I don't know where he's at in that project, but we encourage that where you think that you'll be able to pull it off. And like I said, the controller has all the outputs for doing that kind of thing. It's gonna take a bit of savviness and time to set that sort of thing up. Yeah.
Will there be an option for a lower shelf to attach to the table legs? Yep, there are holes at the very bottom and midway through. You can build a shelf out of some 2x4s and plywood. You can build 2 shelves. You can build 1 shelf. You can build a shelf on the bottom. It's it's 100% able to do that.
I think
is that maybe not what they meant at all?
I think that I think they maybe were asking you about a kit for sale or something.
Oh,
I'm not sure.
Possibly they wanted a kit for sale for a shelf. We don't have that right now.
It's something that we've thought about, but I guess we can't really give you an answer. The reason we didn't really have one at start is because the machine is frankly it's pretty damn rigid. It's not going anywhere. These are pretty thick steel legs, so you frankly don't need it as far as usability, getting the machine in your shop. And then we always did think that having some sort of 2x4 thing, like you mentioned, is like a pretty solid, cost-effective solution. And you just save a lot of money and you get the flexibility of whatever shelf system you want. If you have a CNC machine, we kind of assume you're probably not going to be like too opposed to chopping up some 2x4s. It's a pretty quick project.
Yeah. And then sort of the question of shipping as well.
Yes.
Where now, so that's likely then going to either bump up the weight of our boxes. We got to fit that into it, so higher shipping price, and the user would see that, and then or a different box altogether. So that's another box to be sent. Whereas it's sort of more efficient in terms of purchasing. There's a Home Depot or something right near you, but that's sort of the thought.
Same reason we don't send you a whole wasteboard too.
Yeah.
That would be, I don't even want to imagine how much it would cost to ship.
That would be the funniest looking box, just thin and 4 feet by 4 feet or so.
I guess that's like IKEA furniture though.
Right.
Or something. Yeah.
It certainly could be. That is rather IKEA.
Yep. Okay, we got some other questions.
Order 2x4 Mark II machine does not come with controller board. I didn't order the spindle.
It does come with a controller. I don't know if that's what they're asking. Yeah, it's fine. If you didn't order the spindle, it really just means you'll get absolutely everything to run the machine. You can plug it into a wall, you can move it around, do all the stuff. You just won't have a spindle in your machine. That's really the only thing that you're missing. For customers that don't opt for the spindle kit, you can obviously find one like plenty places. There's a lot of third-party sellers. You can also get parts to set that system up yourself.
Here's a question, how about a registration camera for positioning?
Maybe they mean like a table mounted thing to, I don't know.
Possibly. I mean, it's one of those ones where you home the machine when you start it up, and then from that point it goes to the very back and reaches all of its homes, so you're at 0, 0, 0. And then once you move the machine, it's very precise. You move it, 3 millimeters, it'll be moving 3 millimeters. So you're not really going to be out of spec where you need a camera to send a feedback loop to tell you that you've actually reached 2 millimeters or touched the table bed. Maybe I'm confused on the question.
I think you might be talking about like to position on your material.
Oh yeah, I see.
I see. Like maybe a camera mounted on the tool head or on the spindle. Yeah. Yeah, it's a fun idea that we've like toyed or thought about a couple of times. There's a really expensive, I don't know where they're based. Are they European or something? It's called Datron, and they do have exactly that system, but I believe their machine is in like the hundreds of thousands of dollars. Super cool stuff, but it does exactly what you're talking about if that's what you're talking about. It allows you to have a camera view over your top of your material, and you can set up all your probing and stuff using that. You wouldn't be able to do this fully autonomously with just camera feed because you do need some amount of precision. You can't just rely on a camera only to pick up locations, but yeah, it's a cool concept. Would love to see some ideas for vertical clamping. We've seen some pretty crazy setups so far from some of our users with AltMills. We've seen some people that have little drop tables, and then they've got little systems built into the front T-slots on these cross beams. Yeah, I think that's one of those things where it'd be cool if we offered a system for it, but it's kind of to be seen how popular it is. And that's kind of one of those funny things about the AltMill is that it's a little bit outside of our usual crowd and use case from where we have our bread and butter, previously the long mill in the hobby space. So it's just kind of, we're taking some time to see how people use the machine, see what sort of features people want. You know, we would hate to spend a lot of time making vertical clamping and it's everyone wants an ATC system or other stuff instead. So yeah, but our customers have a lot of cool ideas and have done some crazy stuff with vertical clamping, as well as on our long mill machine before. You guys are really creative.
And even like thinking about the vertical clamping where a lot of people who would want that and then make it themselves, you're kind of customizing it to your specific need of what you want to do.
Yep.
So then the part of our challenge with designing something like that is getting all that information from everybody who's kind of done it themselves, seeing where they intermesh, and then choosing what system to move forward with to design so that we can make one product that works for as many people as we can, as opposed to a very specific need. How about
That's actually a really great idea. I don't think we've done anything like that.
Yes, yeah, contest. I mean, contests are just about always fun.
For context for some of our viewers who might not know, we have a Facebook group which you should join if you're interested. And in that Facebook group, we also have, I think we also host this outside of the Facebook group. It's just a general thing, but you tend to see a lot of the entries and winners in that Facebook group of a contest we hold. Is it not weekly, monthly? Weekly? Weekly, yeah. We hold it weekly, and it's basically just a theme of, make a sign, make something out of metal, make something using V-bits, any one of those kinds of themes, and then we'll select some winners and send them out some free end mills or bits, little tokens of gratitude, I guess. And that's a great idea that you had, is to showcase some of these cool ideas. So maybe we'll do 1 week where our theme is machine modifications or like table setups or custom use cases. I don't know, maybe that guy who's working on a fiber laser for his AltMill will win. I don't know. Or he might still be working on it, I don't know.
Is the AltMill compatible with programs like Fusion 360, Mastercam? It is.
It's compatible with any CAM software that uses Grbl-based software. So GRBL, that's the older version of what we're using on this controller. This controller runs Grbl HAL, and that's completely backwards compatible with Grbl, which is the original, many moons ago, was the most popular hobby controller system. Vacuum bed. Yeah, vacuum bed is a fun one. That would be an interesting idea. That's one of those where you're sort of, it's kind of like ATC that people have been interested in. And it's like, we're in a sort of awkward like growth phase, or not growth phase, but sort of awkward scenario where this machine is super capable for hobby and there's a lot of like prosumer use. It's just like some features should trickle down. Some of them might be like very expensive. So obviously an ATC system, if we ever develop one, is going to be a bit more expensive. A vacuum table is another great example though of like, they're pretty expensive systems and they do add a lot of value. It's a really nice, helpful thing to do if you're doing production work or anything, but they're going to be pretty expensive. And you typically see those on $20,000, $30,000 machines where it does make a bit more sense. But to some extent, it's kind of like you're putting like $6,000 rims on like a Honda Civic. Nothing wrong with that, but it doesn't have as much like practical value. Like I don't think we'll see Honda putting really flashy rims on any of their cars for production. So it's tricky, but it would be nice if we can have options where we can point people to maybe third-party people that can help with that sort of thing for vacuums, vacuum tables.
It's all part of it, trying to find the economical way of creating these new solutions where it's like vacuum bed, that's an expensive solution right now in the industry. Okay, so how do we make that economical for somebody to purchase with a product that is looking at that customer type? And that it takes time.
Which one are you on? Will the spindle from my long? Oh nope. How about adding holes for casters like you had at the? Yeah. I guess this is kind of related to the guy that was asking about the 12mm hole. You were probably asking for reasons of wanting to add casters. I would note that if you can find casters that have a 3/8 inch stud or 10mm-ish stud, you can probably just fit those in as stock and without any modification. We've generally not really recommended casters because they add a lot of extra bending moment to the bottom of the foot, which was not designed for that. The solution to this is to use casters that you can raise and lower. So there's different types. I wish I could show you, but our machine from the woodworking show is over there. And it has casters that you can basically raise and lower. And it's got this little lever thing that everyone seems to be tripping over when they walk by. There's another type of caster where it's got this little pedestal that you can twist to raise and lower. I think that's something that we will look at some point to sell, and that would be just backwards compatible everywhere, is maybe one of those like raise and lower pedestal type feet, so that you can still get casters to move it around on occasion, but you won't be adding a lot of kind of weakness or stress points on your table legs. It also doesn't help that casters will just like allow your machine to wobble around. This thing moves really fast, so yeah, it can be tricky. Will this spindle from my long mill fit this machine? It's a long mill spindle that I have. If it's an 80mm spindle, it'll be a direct swap in. If it's a 65mm spindle, you could either find out a way to make a spacer for it, get one machined, or 3D print a spacer sleeve to change your router mount from 80mm, which is included with your machine, down to 65 or something. The other option is to purchase a router mount from our store page. So a little fun fact that is not as known is that AltMill is actually compatible with the long mill router mount. So you can actually purchase one of those from our store site. They come in 65, 71mm, and 80mm. I mean, you wouldn't buy the 80mm because this is already 80mm, but you can get any of those three, and they screw into this Z plate here from the back, same as the long mill. Yep. What else do we got here?
System, pneumatic system. Can you work with Rapid Change ATC team to add more cheap system than a pneumatic system? Yeah, that's one. We've done some testing with the Rapid Change, and like I guess it's on our side of things, it seems like a risky product to kind of put all our, or at least even some of our eggs into at this point, just with the way that it changes the tool between tools. There's kind of a lot that can go wrong, and when you have a lot that can go wrong, well, things will go wrong. So we're not at this point really endorsing it. You want to
Yeah,
talk to that?
it is a funny one. I think that the concept of the rapid change is great, and I think that you'll see a lot of people with success with a rapid change system on our CNC, any CNC, and I think that it can work really well. It's a really good idea. Kudos to the people that came up with it. I'm a fan of the concept, just like Ben was mentioning, things can go wrong, and they will go wrong. So it's kind of a tricky one. We really want to focus on making reliable systems that will just work for you. I think that's one of the biggest things of an ATC system too, is that you're paying extra money and you're investing in this equipment so that you can walk away from the job and you know that it'll be going right. You know that your machine will change tools and nothing will go sideways and you can come back to a finished part. So I think as soon as you remove or as soon as you add any kind of reliability risk or questionability, you're losing a lot of value. And I think it could change at some point, maybe with more testing, maybe with different design updates and just little improvements. And I'm sure that'll happen. But I guess at this point in time, yeah, our testing hasn't looked all too great on the reliability side. You know, you see a lot of people skeptical of cross-threading ER collet nuts and stuff. And yeah, like I said, I think it's one of those where it can be perfect, but it isn't perfect yet. We'll see how that goes though. Will you be offering a tablet-style add-on in the future for control?
Like the G control.
You're never gonna believe this.
It's already there.
It's we don't have one here, but yeah, we don't have one here. But we do literally offer this already. I guess it's not so much a tablet. It's pretty large.
Yeah, something about yay big.
Yep.
And yeah, touchscreen, plugs into the controller. It's its own computer really. And it is for sale, called the G controller.
Mm-hmm. I think it's a 15-ish inch screen, I think. Yeah, I think it's about 15 inches.
It certainly looks about that size.
Yeah. I think you definitely want a larger screen when you're doing this, especially it's kind of meant to run with our own control software, G-Sender. So you get a full 3D preview of your tool path, a bunch of controls all at your hands. So you kind of don't want something that's super tiny where you're not really able to do much with it and you're kind of feeling a little lost. You can't look at stuff. But yeah. Oh, yeah. In relation to Vortex rotary axis, with the addition of riser blocks and mounting it below the spoil board, increase its capacity in the Z direction. So it's just limited inherently by how the Vortex headstock mounts to the track. Don't remember what the exact number is. I think it's around 4 inches or something, don't quote me. Maybe 5 max theoretical, don't remember. But you can find that on the story page for the Vortex in our resources. It isn't really possible to just easily increase that. Yeah, there's not much else to it. Scott said you need to really prefer you did it.
Yeah, you'd prefer that we had larger hole. Just offered the table leg with larger holes that could work with a caster.
Yeah, like I said, I think we could look into a solution that is just fully backwards compatible and doesn't require any modification. I do believe that there are leveling feet caster setups that do not require any kind of extra hole or hole modifications. It's just something we'll have to look at in the future. Will the machine work with carbide motion? I actually don't know because this hasn't been tested. I would err on the side of no, but I would also not be surprised if it is. I'm just gonna say no. Just, yeah, probably not. It should be possible for them to easily update it to work with Gerbil HAL. Gerbil HAL, I guess, again, for the people who missed it, is the firmware architecture that our controller runs on this machine. It's the updated, like, brand new shiny version of regular Gerbil, which is a little bit old at this point. So I don't know if Carbide Motion has any ability to work with Gerbil HAL, or if that's maybe on the roadmap at some point. I don't know why it would be, but who knows. You could try it out and see. Not to shamelessly plug, but G-Sender has a lot of features that you'd be gaining from using that instead. So you could try that out first.
Question about G-Sender. Is there a way of doing simple line programming instead of running a program as a block?
Oh.
Well, in the console.
I think that, yeah, you can send individual lines in the console.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe he's asking about making like a full, like you can just write your own text block of G-code, I guess.
Yeah, I guess you could write your own text block and then insert it into the console, press
Yeah.
send.
Or
Or do it in a macro sense as well.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, I guess that
Right.
would, depending on what you're using that for, it might be best served as a macro for single line programming.
Might just be more convenient where then you've got it saved. Though
Yeah.
I guess you could save it in your own text file as well. But yeah, I guess the answer would be yes.
Yeah, yeah. Mike, they're 10 millimeters. You may need to open them up for 12 millimeters for casters. Yeah, who knows?
May need to open up for 12 millimeter casters, but yeah, I mean, I guess it would just be a question of online finding a set of casters that work with 10 millimeter holes.
Yeah.
Personally, I haven't looked into that, so
Yeah.
they might be out there, might not be.
I'm sure they exist somewhere. But yeah, I guess we can talk more about the Mark II stuff, and
Yeah.
we'll wait for some more questions. Oh yeah.
What's your time on it? Place a more powerful spindle. Place an order for AltMill attempt.
Oh yeah.
Oh, if you guys are enjoying, so we're getting info from the boys behind the screen, and yeah, we just if you guys are enjoying listening to this, please give a thumbs up, and I don't know, maybe clap your hands just to yourself. We obviously aren't going to be able to hear it, but it's going to make me happier sitting here knowing and thinking that you're maybe clapping your hands. So yeah, just get going and start. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay, enough of that. That's pretty corny.
If you're new to the channel, you can also subscribe. You
Right.
can look through our long list of videos. We have lots of behind-the-scenes content, lots of new product stuff, all sorts of things. And yeah, we'll be having lots of new content come out soon as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Spindle stuff, more powerful spindles. Yeah, like I said before, this is something that we're working on and actively developing, I suppose. So yeah, looking into more powerful spindles in the realm of 3 kilowatts and higher, around that range. That's something we're working on, but I can't really quite comment on much of a timeline. Let's just say tentatively within 2025. Yeah, we got some.
Two Dan's one. Can you get upgraded Mark II parts for the old AltMill?
Good question.
Yeah, there wouldn't be too much. A lot of the upgrades in the AltMill Mark II do come down to assembly. So to unassemble your AltMill Mark I, to reassemble it more easily with the Mark II parts would be a bit of a roundabout way of doing things.
I think there are key, yeah, like obviously all the little minutiae, like you mentioned, it doesn't really make much sense. Like we've tried to emphasize this really for ease of assembly and then QA and QC stuff for us internally. But yeah, I think the things people will be most interested in, we will offer stuff for. So we mentioned in the Mark II launch video that the motor covers and stuff like that would be available on our store. We'll probably also offer the custom lengthened wiring. But yeah, I guess it's going to depend on your specific installation. You know, these are kind of just little quality of life things. The motor covers are obviously going to be a bit more practical for people. They do protect the motors and the cabling as well. So it's a very valid upgrade, but I would say probably not parts for a lot of the other things on the Mark II AltMill. You really just won't be noticing any kind of difference.
Oh yeah, here we go. Got a big question for cable management Mark II. Let's. I'm just going to zoom out right here, and I guess let it speak for itself. The cable management is been upgraded pretty well, where you've got the sensor cable in with the same sleeve as the motor controls and power, and then
can show the pigtail too, or maybe
Pigtail,
not. It's
pigtail.
tied on the sensor.
oh
It
yeah,
might be
it
tied
is.
in there, or plugged in.
Oh yeah, no, we got it.
Yeah. Oh, it's taped. Oh no, the movie magic is all gone. This is stuff you do when you're just working with the
Either way,
random parts.
this is how you're going to get your sensors, and then you can plug it right in.
To that same integrated harness, yeah.
Exactly, to the integrated harness. So, yeah, you know, this is just the way it looks right now because we're doing a video. But, yeah, this is the way that cable management is going to look for the Mark IIs. It's going to come in the other side of the front side of the controller instead of the back. And, yeah, in the Mark I, it was coming in from the front. Some were coming in from the front and back. So it's, I guess, well managed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a bit better.
Through the rail as well.
Right?
Yeah. That's a funny one we can show you here with this is that the added benefit of this rib that we mentioned before, which is largely helping a lot of control of wall surfaces and things, now we have sectioned off an area for screws where this is going to mount to build your table, and then we have a little pocket where you can run wiring. We've tried wiring through the rail on the original AltMill and with that design, and boy, does it ever suck when you're running wires through and you're just hitting every single screw. It's like if you've ever had to run wiring through drywall, stuff like that, it gets pretty gross. I think our spindles just picked up in the background. I don't know if you can hear it. We do a full I don't know if it's like 3 or 4 hour burn-in cycle on all of our spindles that we get in. So those go through an automated phase of different speeds, and they just got to their highest speed right now. It's a little noisy. I think, no. Scott, just close the door.
Save the day.
Save the day. But yeah, that's been a nice little benefit is being able to run these through now. It just cleans up the table a lot. You don't have to worry about cables dangling anywhere, stuff like that.
Yeah, so cables running through that upper cavity in the Y rail, and then another fun one are these new screws that we designed and had made with a very tall head, so that when you're putting the machine together, so it's going to look like that when you're putting it together, and you're not going to be able to drop your screw into the extrusion hollow, which was very possible and happened quite a bit with the Mark I's, causing a bit of grief while putting your machine together until you kind of figured out how to do it. So this is how it pops in, and there's really no way to get it stuck into the hollow. That could actually be a fun challenge. How?
Oh yeah.
You know, if you could possibly
send
do
us
it.
a picture of a drop screw, and we'll send you a free. And no,
sticker.
we won't do that.
Yeah, maybe you'll get a sticker.
Yeah.
But either way, that's
how that looks.
that's how that looks. It's kind of fun.
I'll also note that these black rails that we're showing you here today are just for some fun internal testing, prototyping stuff. It's nothing to do with production.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't expect.
They're going to come silver,
Yeah.
just like how this looks.
Yeah.
The black is just kind of fun to do.
Yep. We got a question about 4x8 bed size.
Right.
I feel like it'd be kind of hard to sleep on that. Well, depends how tall you are, I guess. But 4 feet? Actually, that wouldn't be that bad.
4x8.
I'm just making a stupid joke.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
kind of like, is that like a double bed?
It'd be a really tall double bed.
Yeah. Like you definitely, you could, yeah. You could
Sorry, guys.
definitely. All right. Back to the point.
Yeah, I guess
double
we can,
bed with an extra quarter. No, my bad.
Mm-hmm.
I'm working on doing some preliminary designs for the 4x8 right now. So I'm having a lot of fun with that, looking into some rack and pinion options for the linear motion system. And I could talk about that for a sec, where instead of using the ball screws, which is what the 2x4 and 4x4 use for the linear motion, with 8 feet long, you end up running into issues with shipping because now you have an 8-foot long ball screw to ship to customers, and then on top of that, the speeds that the ball screw is going to be going, moving at, and the length 8 feet long, there's going to be a sag in that ball screw, which then turns it into a skipping rope when it's moving at rapid speeds or even normal speeds. We'd have to test that and do some calculations. But yeah, so right now I'm working on a rack and pinion prototype, and that's kind of like preliminary work for the 4x8 machine.
Yeah.
But when exactly? When? Question mark. Later, not now. Right now, Mark II 2x4.
Yeah.
So definitely, yeah, eye on the ball
It
for
is
the
on the-
2x4, but the 4x8 is
It's in the pipeline.
working. Yeah, it is working its
Yeah.
way.
It's not working, but it's working its way
Right.
to working. Sure.
It's working on working.
Yep. Aren't we all?
Yeah.
Do you guys think you guys could do a beginner set with this machine? I think that's a super good idea and option. Yeah, I think it may have been something we've talked about in the past. But yes, that's a great idea, and it's quite likely we do that. Yeah, keep working.
We hear
on
you.
it. We hear you. Yep. USA loves Canada. Keep up the great work, man. We love everyone.
Yeah.
I'm glad. Lots of love. Yeah.
Thanks.
How about an extension pack to extend it to 6 feet? Must be a way to reduce backlash at that length. This is I guess.
I don't know if I fully understand.
I think he wants to extend the y-axis maybe to 6 feet. I guess it's one of those funny ones where, me and Ben were talking recently about like why 2 foot by 4 foot, and it's a very good question. I'm surprised no one actually asked that yet, but it is one of those ones where you need to choose sizes that will be practical, like nominal sizes that are common or have some sort of use case. I'm sure that 6 foot has some practical reason for existing, but don't know how often or how popular it would be. It's kind of like when we talk about the 4x8 machine, there's going to be requests eventually for 5x10 machines, because you can get plywood in that size, and obviously there are some use cases to that. But it really is about like making sure we can accommodate most popular sizes, and then making sure that's accessible for people. Yeah. So in the same vein, the 2 foot AltMill was sort of a Goldilocks of like, a 30-inch machine. I guess like it has some merit too, but it's just a little bit smaller than what we're doing right now. So it's a situation of like, yeah, what's the point? Like why would you buy that when you can just get a full 4 foot by 4 foot?
Yeah.
It's not much more room that it's going to take up. So the 2 foot is really it's a pretty good size as far as like, you have a ton of working area, but it's not overly large for your shop. Like I said before, you can probably comfortably fit it in a 2-car garage or something like that. Even a single-car garage, if you could probably still park a car in a single-car garage with it, if I had to guess. I don't know.
Yeah, we're getting a big head shake from Scott, and
Yeah.
you can park a car.
Do you have a single-car garage?
I have a barn.
You have a barn?
Scott has a barn, so I
Right.
don't know why he's able to
Scott-
relate to this, but
Scott has yeah.
he knows. He's got knowledge.
We've had this debate before, though, Scott, where you were saying it was a barn, but it's
It's actually a single car garage.
just a shop, but you keep calling it a barn.
Okay.
Anyways,
So what about the 4x6? Well, yeah, it's just one of those ones where you have a 4x4, you got a 2x4, 4x4. To go 2 feet more, it's like for the effort in, what are you achieving out of it? In our mind, it makes more sense to make a larger jump.
I think I'd be curious to know if
Yeah.
you can type out what the purpose or like practical application is. If it's like one single project or like a common project people might do, like we genuinely would be curious to know. And like if this is something that we're like totally overlooking, then yeah.
Maybe that's the size of like regular coffee tables or something like that. Like every
Yeah.
table is 6 feet long, and I just
Like,
don't know it.
I could see that being a thing too. I'm sure it's pretty
Depends on the
common
garage
somewhere.
size, yeah. Is there a Mark II 4x4 built like the Mark?
No, it's identical, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's identical, just that it's shorter in the Y direction.
Yeah, that's really it.
Yeah. Yep.
That's really it. There's not much to be said.
Tool changer before 4x8, please. ... Lol. Lots of love. Yeah, we hear you. Okay.
Yeah. I think
Thanks.
those things are quite far away, and it's hard to say where things which may
Yeah.
come first, what may come later. We'll have to wait and see.
We'll see how the internal development goes.
Yep. Yep.
Fluid motion.
Mm-hmm.
What about excellent? Depends on your garage size layout. Makers could put.
Makers could put them on moving.
elements.
Oh, this guy's talking about those like
Around those
plastic
plastic
furniture moving dolly things. Maybe not furniture, but those are just for moving things, moving large, heavy things. You can get those little plastic discs. Yeah, like that'd be pretty helpful. The AltMills, like, we typically just hand bomb them with 2 people. I wouldn't recommend that. Maybe grab a 3rd person at least, because they are pretty heavy. But yeah, I see why you might want that if you're dragging stuff around. Sort of depends.
Hey, wait, what did I miss? Yeah, we'll just restart. Sorry, I didn't mean to. Don't mean to rip on you, Renzo. But what did you miss? Okay, just to go over it quickly, we've got the 2x4 dropping, and the 2x4 is going to look just like this. It's a Mark II machine, but it's shorter. This is the Mark II 4x4. So the 2x4 is going to be 2 feet shorter.
Yeah. If you want to learn more about the Mark II AltMill, we put out a video recently talking about some of the differences. It's just a little quality of life and assembly things. And then, yeah, like Ben mentioned, the 2x4 is going to be shipping with those, and then we'll also be having the Mark II specific AltMill 4x4 sizes ready to go.
How much does the 2x4 weigh?
That's a good question.
It would be in the range of 76 plus like 70, so 140 plus.
I'd bet it's like
so a
180.
bit less than less than 200 pounds.
Just under. I suppose that depends if you're.
Yeah,
Well,
180 around that
Yeah, if you
weight
put
range.
I guess the spindles would all be pretty similar. Like you're not going to
Oh
run
yeah,
your
the
machine
spindle
with a
kit.
spindle.
The spindle's going to
Yeah.
be
What, 20 pounds or something maybe?
20-pound spindle. you
Well,
think?
with all the electronics and
Right.
stuff too. It's possible. Let's just call it conservatively 200 pounds.
Yeah. Bet on 200 pounds, but be happily excited when it's less than 200 pounds.
Yeah. We're
Ever
gonna
think
offer
of wall mounting it? Mounting it to the wall. Yeah, somebody was asking about that, so then we thought about it at that moment.
Yeah, we've had a couple customers ask about that. Like we just talked about, it's 200 pounds at least. So if you're wall mounting it, you better make sure your wall is really strong, because I would hate to see it all fall onto like a car or something.
Oh yeah, you definitely
or
want to make
worse,
sure.
onto a person. For that reason, I guess we don't specifically advise of doing that. What will you do with it? We can't really control you. But yeah.
Discounts for schools.
Gonna offer a trade-in
Discounts for
program.
schools. I guess you'd want to talk to Charles, who is he's our in-house guy who works with all the schools, and he would be able to have that information. I'm not sure.
Yeah. You're gonna offer a trade-in program. I'd be curious to know what machine specifically you'd be looking to trade in. If you're looking to go from like a 2 foot by 4 foot AltMill up to a 4 foot by 4 foot. We had a question previously asking about possibly an upgrade kit or something for extending that to 4 foot. That's to be seen whether we will do that. I don't see any reason we couldn't. It's just gonna be some extra parts. As far as trading in for, I don't know what, if you wanted to trade in a long mill or something, that's also not something we have as an option or planned really.
I guess it becomes tough on our end of like the trade-in. You got to think about the value of. We then get the AltMill or the long mill or whatever you just used, and then how do we then utilize that afterwards to do much with? Because we can't really start selling used machines to people. That's not really the business that we're in.
Yeah.
And then
I think your best bet if you're looking to sort of trade in or upgrade anything is to go on Facebook Marketplace or Kijiji or whatever you have.
Right.
You see lots of machines going for resale, and they typically hold their value really well. I think especially something like a long mill, you're adding a lot of value to it already by actually building it and commissioning it onto a platform or table or whatever. So it wouldn't surprise me if you can recoup a lot of your money and then just go for whatever upgrade you're looking for. Fourth axis before alt. We already have a fourth axis. Yeah, we have the Vortex rotary axis. We don't have one that I can pull up for you, but yeah, it's a nifty little unit. We've done a pretty good job at getting resources and full sort of project step-by-step guides ready for that. Fourth axis is not something super easy to use, so we tried to do our best to make sure people would be able to slap it on their machine and carve out their first project and stuff. Yeah, and that's obviously going to work with your AltMill as well. Yeah, nice. Already ordered my 2x4 AltMill. Are we expecting to get it shipped by early April? I don't know the exact timelines, and I don't want to say anything incorrect right now. I would say refer to any of the latest blog posts regarding that and the store page. Those should have the most accurate, up-to-date information regarding that. And then we also do have an order tracking page as well, where you'll be able to look at your order once placed. And yeah. Oh, we got the world famous Hamilton Dilbeck on the comments. Love all the improvements to the Mark II. Awesome work on addressing customer feedback so quickly. Great work, y'all. I think this is a funny one because we were actually watching the Hamilton Dilbeck video review. Great video, by the way. He killed it. Watching the video, and he was addressing a lot of these little quirks and stuff. Things like the drag chain catchment feature, stuff like that. Like little nitpicks and things, and we were like, this is so funny because he's going to love this as soon as we release all the stuff that we already fixed or improved on, I guess. Yeah, so funny business. Yeah, any other questions on here?
Yeah, we're getting the word to wrap it up pretty well soon. So if you have any last minute questions, then fire it out now is sort of your last chance to raise your hand. Mm-hmm. But it's been a lot of fun doing this. Yeah. Yep. Love the drag chain channel. Yes. Yeah. Same. Absolutely. I mean, I remember when I thought it up, I told Daniel, I'm like, Daniel, we should just make this into a channel. Keep it there, can't move. Printed a couple 3D printed pieces, threw it on there, and yeah, before you knew it, it just worked out great. It was an easy development, which was fun.
It is, yeah. It really is all those little things, because the drag chain is one of those where as soon as you move the machine back over, it's going to pull the drag chain back into alignment anyway. But having little catchment stuff is like, it's one of those nice little quality of life things, I think. So we're always going to be continuously improving this, you know.
Yep. To Renzo, you can use Fusion 360 to program the AltMill. You just need to, when you post the process, you choose Gerbil HAL. But yes, it does work. You can use that. Yeah, thanks for everybody who tuned in and watched.
Yep.
Yeah, come and check out the website. Look at all the products, the store page.
Store pages for the Mark II 4x4 AltMill are live, and the 2x4 AltMill are live. So, you know, go crazy, and we will. What is the lead time? Again, as I mentioned before, just to get the most accurate information, check our latest blog post about the Mark II stuff, and then check the store page as well. And you'll get the most up-to-date information on that, as well as we have an order tracking page later on that you can refer to after ordering, and just see how that's going. Cool.
When is the new Mark III plan? I guess we're gonna have to see. Yeah, once people get Mark II, and if somebody says, "Hey, what the heck's the problem with this?" Then that's at that point we'll start playing on Mark III. But as we did Mark II, we've kind of addressed the problems that we've seen and wanted to address, so we don't have, I guess, like problems in our back pocket where it's like, oh, this is really going to show up. Yeah. We've addressed everything that we could so far.
I will say I don't anticipate a serious overhaul or Mark III. Not in a like tooting our own horn kind of way, but I think this machine's pretty damn near perfect as far as a lot of things go. Just in a rough mechanical kind of way. The platform's proved itself really well. So we'll continue we'll make a little couple small little improvements as time goes on, as any other product would, but nothing crazy to be expected, I guess. So
Yeah.
don't hold out for Mark III, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah,
Cool.
thanks very much for tuning in.
Yeah. Leave a like and subscribe if you're enjoying our content.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we'll catch you on the next one. Great.
See you later, guys. Thank
Bye,
you.
guys.
Bye. Jeez.
Cool. 240.